Welcome to the Center on Innovation and Improvement's Indicators in Action series. My name is Rachel, and I am your facilitator for this classroom management module, the second in the Indicators in Action series. Classroom management covers 6 indicators organized into 3 topics: organizing the classroom, Part 1, work time, Part 2, and rules and procedures, Part 3. For maximum learning benefits and to avoid confusion, each part should be viewed in the order it appears. We recognize that you may not be able to view all the parts in one sitting, so we've created each part as an individual file. We hope this provides an easy, convenient way for you to move through the module. An electronic workbook accompanies this module. The workbook provides you with the full list of the indicators and relevant tools, templates, and activities. You will also find additional content to supplement your learning. If you haven't already, please take a minute to print the Classroom Management Workbook now. Once you've done that, you're ready to move on to Part 1, Organizing the Classroom. Welcome to Part 1 of the Classroom Management module, Organizing the Classroom. By now, you have reviewed the Indicators in Action overview, which explained how this project got started, what it is intended to provide, and how it should be experienced. You have also viewed the introduction to the Classroom Management module and printed out your Classroom Management Workbook. Remember, each part should be viewed in the order it appears for maximum learning benefit. Let's get started. Our first and only success indicator for Part 1, Organizing the Classroom, relates to the physical space of the classroom. All teachers maintain well-organized student learning material. Successful teachers, as we saw in the instructional planning module, align instruction to standards and objectives. They also differentiate that instruction to meet individual student needs. That takes a lot of work. Therefore, the organization and management of our classroom becomes even more important. The less time we have to spend reminding students how to behave and where to find materials, the more time we have to plan and deliver high-quality instruction. To get started, let's mentally situate ourselves in a classroom. Take a look at this sample classroom layout, which you will also find in your workbook. You'll notice this classroom is configured to accommodate the blend of whole class and work time modes, an approach that supports individualized and successful student learning. Take note of the following highlights of this configuration: the spaces designated for group work and their proximity to teacher centers, designated space for the posting of the class rules, procedures, and schedules, various work time centers that are clearly marked, and designated space for independent work that serves as a space for whole class instruction as well. Arranging your classroom similarly to the layout of this example will automatically contribute to effective classroom management. Desks are arranged to accommodate the learning activity at hand, and students know exactly what is expected of them. Well, has what you've seen so far sparked any ideas for you? Would you say that your classroom is arranged to support effective classroom management? What could you change or improve? Remember this floor plan. We'll revisit it again in parts 2 and 3 of this module. Yes, it's that important. Beyond the physical layout and arrangement of your classroom, the way you organize your learning materials also impacts your classroom management success. Well-marked areas of the room and learning materials help students navigate their learning environment. Let's take a look at various classrooms where teachers have organized their materials in a way that contributes to an organized learning environment.
I start from day one, the beginning. When they come in, they know exactly where their things go. They know exactly where everything needs to be. It's all about routines. You have to start from day one, slowly just adding on one routine at a time. And by 2 weeks into the school year, they're familiar with everything. They know where everything goes. They know where what they need to do when. So it's really important just from day one to start them with routines, no matter if they're in 1st grade or 5th grade. You just really need to have them know their routines. It helps me stay organized because then I'm able to quickly go from one thing to another. If you weren't organized, I think it'd take a long time for transition to go from, for instance, doing your content lesson to go into doing your journal. If they don't know what they need to do or where things are, they're going to be all over the place and they won't be able to focus on what I need them to do. Therefore, I wouldn't get as much done during the day.
Notice that this teacher starts her organizational routines with her students from the first day of school. By doing so, she is able to increase instructional time by maintaining smooth transitions and increasing student focus. The following teacher shows us specifically what goes into planning and organizing her classroom. Here, she gives us a tour of how she organizes her materials to meet the needs of the various ability levels of her students.
Okay, I'm going to show you a couple learning centers that I have made and how I've leveled them for each individual child in my classroom. I'm a first grade teacher, and so a very easy learning center to make is to make some photocopies of different pages and have them laminated. And you can use a wipe-off marker and a sock and the kids can work on them. I also have different little games. This one happens to be ending sounds. The kids would find the top part and find the ending sound that goes with it and snap that together. Well, I also have some also leveled activities. I purchased this one. It's beginning sounds, and they work with these letters I have and find the one that matches up. And that would be for someone learning their beginning or ending sounds, and it gets progressively harder. Also in my room, I have a listening center, and the child will come back throughout the week and listen to the book, and after they listen to the book, there will be an activity that goes with the book, where, maybe it's just as simple as drawing, a picture of one of the characters, or if the child is able to, write sentences, they could tell me something about the story. Over here, I have a writing center, and I will give the children a topic to write on, depending on what story we're reading, and I'll level it to go along with whatever level they're at. And I just have different materials back here, markers and crayons and scissors and pencils and different kinds of paper that they can use. I also have a variety of other centers that are also leveled, and I keep them over here that go along with the same kinds of things that I showed you up here. Whatever we're doing that week, whatever skill we're working on, I'll have a center to go with it.
What did you notice about this particular teacher's organization? Can you appreciate the importance of having the materials clearly labeled? Let's take a look at another teacher's organized learning environments. Here, we learn how a high school chemistry teacher utilizes a unit-based folder system, not only for himself, but also for his students.
We utilize the workbook because it organizes all the material based on the different topics that are going to be covered, and because it's consistently done throughout each unit, meaning that each unit starts off with similar pages where it provides essential knowledge for the students. It also is aligned with our textbooks, so it can highlight which pages will assist the students with certain material. Inside of each unit, we provide them with all the tested objectives based on state standards, so the students know ahead of time what they're going to be responsible for knowing. We also highlight important vocabulary terms that they're going to be addressed throughout the course of the unit. And just for some assistance, we do provide them with a blank notes page, and it goes into each corresponding section of the book. Within each unit, it does coincide with the organization of the essential knowledge, starting at the top and chronologically working its way towards the bottom.
Because of these teachers' attention to organization, their students are able to navigate their learning environment with few distractions, all contributing to a positive classroom environment. Let's take this a step further and listen to a teacher explain how she teaches her students to utilize the learning materials in her classroom.
Well, at the beginning of the year or the beginning of any new concept, I take nothing for granted. I don't assume that they know how to use anything. So everything is done through a guided discovery as far as what the materials are used for, how we use the materials, and how we keep them organized in our classroom. If we begin a new unit of study, whether it be history or science or math or anything, the materials are introduced whole group as a guided discovery first. How can we use the materials? How's the best way keep the material safe and organized? How do you use it appropriately for the task at hand?
What do you think of her approach? Are you already doing these things? If so, what impact does it have on your students' learning and engagement? If you aren't, will you start? And finally, if you could ask this teacher a question about something she shared, what would you ask her? This concludes part 1 of classroom management. Now that your classroom is organized and students know how to use the learning materials, part 2 will dig a little bit deeper into the instructional aspects of classroom management. I'll see you there.